What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I will be making a simple bedroom scene. You guys already read the title, you saw the thumbnail, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. Alright, first thing to do is get rid of that and get a better one. So I'm gonna go into edit mode and block out my scene. One of the most important parts of blocking out a scene is making sure that your camera's in the right spot. And I know I say this every time, but the camera position, if you have that down first, it's going to be so much easier to do the rest. Alright, so that's how I want my camera. I have this basic inside scene. Now I'm going to add some trim to the walls. Like that. I'm just gonna move these up. No, extrude these up. If you go into your overlays, you can enable face orientation. Basically, the blue side is the right way, like the normals are the right way. So right now I have it the right way because all the normals are facing towards the camera. So that's a important thing to remember. You probably don't want it on all the time though, because it's kind of annoying to look at. So I kind of want a window, I think, either on this face or in this face. So now I have a very simple window. It's kind of a weird shape for a window, but no, it'll do. Now I'm gonna add the bed. Now obviously beds aren't oriented perfectly, so I can probably just rotate it a little bit like that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the mattress. So what I'm gonna do first is make sure that's pretty even, and actually extrude it in. Shift D to duplicate this, and then I'm going to separate it by selection and make it a different object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit mode, extrude out. Now we're just going to add a bevel modifier. Make sure to apply the scale. Turn up the segments. I should have told you this already, but I'm not going for realistic style. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a bevel modifier as well. So that's a basic design. Obviously I need to add legs to it, but I kind of want to make a pillow first. Obviously I just don't feel like spending the time to actually model this correctly. Like if I actually cared about the realism here, what I would have done is I would have figured out how to simulate like cloth pressure in the pillow. And you know what? That honestly looks good enough, so I'm just gonna go with it. So what I'm doing right here is I'm not actually adding a window again. What I'm instead doing is I am adding a picture frame. And you might be wondering, what exactly am I going to put on this picture frame? And that question will be answered in a few moments. Now we have legs on our bed. It doesn't really look that good right now. You'll notice that like all of my models are just extremely lazy. I actually do put a lot of work into making these videos, so I don't have a ton of time to do everything. So yeah, if you're wondering why I'm not stressing over how this looks or anything like that, that might be part of the reason. So yeah, that's pretty much all the modeling done. Now what I want to do is I want to add a blanket. This is going to get a cloth, and we're just gonna see what happens. Like honestly, this right here, that's a really good result. Now obviously that right there doesn't look so good, but what we can do is we can enable self collisions. You see, I've never done this before, so I'm pretty impressed. All right, so now I have my cloth. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna spend any more time working on it. So I'm done with the modeling. Let's just work on the materials now. The floor I want to use a brick texture for the floor. Here I have my kind of brick texture floor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this with a noise. I'm going to make the scale squashed like that. And I'm going to plug all of this into a bump. So now that I have this bump map here, I can start working on the colors. So I'm going to use this as the color, and I'm going to go ahead and add a color ramp. And I'm not going to bore you with finding the exact color for the wood, so I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so here's my finished floor material. This is the kind of setup I have. Just skim over it like that. I should probably actually use this to judge the roughness as well. Alright, so there's my wood material. Now I'm just going to go ahead and just give this a quick material. Dark like that. Turn the roughness down a little bit. That gives it a nice plastic material. The walls, I give them a noise texture and a bump. Turn up the detail, roughness a little bit. And then now I just add a color ramp and limit that. Mix RGB. Plug that into the Vector. We should have a nice wall material there. I'll just go ahead and plug that into the base color as well. So that was a nice quick wall material right there. I think it looks pretty good. This window also needs a material. Just turn up the transmission. Turn down the roughness. Alright. So that's almost all the materials done. And you know what the great thing about making artwork every once in a while is? If you need something to fill your scene, you always have it. So, last video I made this kind of thing using only modifiers, and I intend to put that in this picture frame right here. So let me do that right now. Alright, here it is. It's sideways and kind of not perfect, but you know what? That's okay. And I want like all the light to be coming from that window right there. So right now that just looks kind of like just a square of light. Not exactly what I'm going for here. I don't know, it just doesn't look that good to me. Otherwise, what else I could do is I could enclose this area. Yeah, I could enclose this area and then use an HDRI. So I've changed the size of the window because it was kind of unrealistically big. And then I also added an HDRI, so yeah. So that's where the lighting's coming from. And so basically what I'm gonna do now is add a couple props to the scene and just make it look a little bit better. Alright, so I added in the props. This is just a test render that I'm showing right here. As you can see, I added a second picture frame that has another, I guess, work of art from one of my other videos. On the bed you can see a phone. That is one of my game assets. And then also on the table you can see 2 throwing knives, also some of my game assets. So I didn't really model anything more, I just added in things that I had laying around. And now without further ado, the final render. I turn up the samples a little bit and I up the contrast. That's almost the only difference, besides I think I also changed the color of one of the lights to make it a little more yellow. So I'm really proud of this render. I think it could look a little bit better with the lighting. Yeah, I'm just glad with how it turned out. Thank you for making it this far in the video. If you did enjoy, please subscribe, maybe share the video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.